Hey, hey everyone. So, hello. My name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the Business Plug. And so I'm coming on now because I want to talk to you about never losing another customer. Like, never, ever lose another customer in your business. And so that's what we're talking about today. So, I am going to help you. We're finishing have this book that we've been reading. And so we're finishing that book and we're going to make that, we're going to be ready for when Joey Coleman comes and talks to us on Thursday. So on Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time in the Business Plugs Mixer, we're doing a special edition just for Joey because he's going to come and talk to us and answer our questions concerning his book. So yeah, and I have his book right here, right here. So this is the book. So yeah, so this is the book that we're reading in my Facebook group, and it's called Building Your Own Six-Figure Business. And so I have about almost 300 people in it. And right now we're reading this about how to stop losing customers so that we can build customer lifetime cycles. And so therefore we're able to have continuous customers, right? We're able to have continuous revenue streams and we're able to start scaling our businesses and make them sustainable so they last a while, right? That's what we're doing. So today's presentation for you is we're going to finish the book. I'm excited about this because I've learned so much about customer retention from this book. I mean, if you don't have it, you need to download it. If you're finding that you're constantly chasing customers in order to do business with them, in order to have a flow of customers, if you're chasing customers, then you definitely want to invest in this book. It is going to be a good thing for you. So, yeah, so let's get started. So, let me get to the presentation and let's talk about never lose a customer again. We're going to talk about chapters 11 through 17. 17 is the final chapter. So, I'm going to read some excerpts from chapters 16 and 17 to you as we finish this. But we're going to talk about some nuggets that I pulled from chapters 11 through 17. So, if you know Joy's concept, it talks about the 8 phases of the customer life cycle, right? So, access, is what before they meet you. The admit is they admit that they have a problem that you can solve. And then you affirm that because most customers have buyer's remorse, especially if they're purchasing big ticket items. They have buyer's remorse. And so you help them to affirm that they did the right thing and that they're ready to activate, which is the next thing, is them putting your process in place. They're actually going through your programs. They're using your coaching. They're using your products and services, and they're activating them. And then they acclimate to how you do business. So they're using it. And if you've done a good job in helping them to acclimate and helping them to understand, then they go to the next phase, which is accomplish. So those last few phases, from phase activate on down, we're going to actually dive into because chapter 11, right? Chapter 11 is about activate. And so that's where we're going to start today. So let's talk about that. Chapter 11 is activate. And I'm going ahead of myself. So let me get back where I was. So activate is the first post sale interaction. Like once a person purchases your product or services, then they're in the activate phase where this is where you get to deliver on on your promises. This is where you do the kickoff meeting. This is where you have the first impressions of how you're going to business. So this is really paramount. And a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, skip this part. They don't realize like once the sale is done, that's when things began. Okay. So in chapter 11, it's talking about how to activate, doing the post sale interaction, like delivering on the promises that you told them back in the assess part, like energizing your relationship in a meaningful way. Because here's what we're talking about. We're talking about doing customer service on a life cycle method as opposed to opposed to the one and done. We realize that one and done will not allow you to scale your business. And so, therefore, we're learning how to scale our business by having repeat customers, but them coming back. And not only are they coming back, when they come back, they're actually telling their friends and family. So they becoming advocates for us. And that's the final phase. And we'll get to that too. So, there are six methods of communication that you can use to touch your customer, right? To reach out to your customer. You can do it in person, you can do it by email, you can do it by snail mail, you can do it by the phone, by video, and by giving them presents. So these are six methods you can use over and over and over again in all of these different stages, all these different phases of the customer life cycle. In 12, we talk about acclimation, right? So once they've activated your product and you've held their hand, you've showed them how to do it. Now, this is where you really get into acclimate because this is where they learn how you do business. And this is where you are doing extreme hand holding because you want the process to work well. After they started using your product, you want to make sure that you're sending them step by step guidelines to help them to get through the customer life cycle. You're giving them customer experiences. You're helping them to become comfortable with your service and product and making sure that they're using it the right way. You're interacting with your customer. Yes, silence is deadly. You don't want your customer to be silent right now because what you're going to get is you're going to get feedback from your customer telling you where there may be some gaps in the process that you didn't see. And if you have that relationship, that's going to determine the tone of that conversation. If it's easy to tell a friend, oh, hey, you got a flaw right there, than it is to tell somebody, hey, I paid all this money and you have a flaw right there, right? That's a different conversation. And so when you're helping them after they've activated the product and service, then you're helping them to acclimate to it. And you're holding hands, you're building because you want them to have a great outcome. That's the whole thing. So in doing this, step by step instructions that you're walking them through and realizing that our customers have different learning levels. So you're going to meet them where they are and you're going to teach them how to get the best out of your service and out of your product. The next thing is, again, hold on and don't let go. This is where the hand holding happens. You're going to guide them through so that they'll know exactly what they need to do in order to have the next section, the next phase, which is accomplish, right? Accomplish is in chapter 13. And accomplish is where you meet their expectations, exceed them, right? And then the process work just like you told them it would because you have walked along with them the whole process. And you can track the number of desired results and the ones who didn't. Like from the ones that had the desired results, perfect. But the ones that you're going to learn the most from are those where it didn't work so well. What didn't go well, and how can you prevent that from happening to again? So, looking at both of those metrics is going to help you, and then help them celebrate. Like when your customer has accomplished their goal, what a great time to celebrate. I remember so of the six methods of communication, when I had a high dollar client, at the end, I sent her a spray of flowers, a bouquet of flowers. And it was springtime and they were springy and purple and white and beautiful. And she adored it. She adored it. But I wanted her to understand how much we as a company appreciated her for choosing us to work with. This is where you can get your satisfaction survey answered too. So tell them, encourage them to use it. Again, you can use those six methods of communication starting the next day after they have activated. Then start, emailing them, start calling them, start interacting with them. Keep the lines of communication open because your customers will see things that you missed before you do. So therefore, helping them to accomplish whatever it is, whatever the outcome was desired. This is where you get to either meet or exceed their expectations and where you get that customer service review from. Celebrate. By all means, celebrate their win. Celebrate that they got through the cycle. Celebrate that they had the outcome they desired. Celebrate that you helped them to move from there where they were to where they want to be. Celebrate with them after the accomplishment. When they get to the accomplishment, now let's talk about the which in chapter 14, it talks about adopt. And this is how you build long term relationships. So you want to elevate your best customers. We don't do that enough. Like we have people that we know, our 1%, who are our best customers, or maybe they're even 20%, right? Because you have the 80/20 Pareto model there. Maybe they're the 20%, but we don't help them. Like we don't celebrate them enough and make them feel special. What can we do? What can we do? Like giving them some kind of loyalty reward or helping them to create more interactions with us. Elevate your best customers, and then customers will be elated to continue with you. This is a long term relationship thing. This is what you want if you're trying to grow a small business, especially. This is what you want to do. You want to make it easy for them to express their loyalty to you by giving them means of channels of ways of doing that with you. And then think about like how Apple does, right? Think about how Harley Davis does. Think about how Lady Gaga does, right? How they like she actually will call from the stage some of her high ticket followers. Can you imagine you're at a concert with Lady Gaga and she's calling your phone rings and you're out in the audience and she's calling you from the stage and giving you an invitation to go behind the curtain with her, behind the scenes, hang out with her. Like, how does that feel if you're a fan? If that, and then if it's not Lady Gaga, any of your fans, I mean, any of the celebrities that you follow, imagine you're in their presence and they call and tell you, hey, well, after the show, let's hook up. And then you get a one-on-one opportunity to hang out with them. How big is that? That's what Adopt is about. Adopt is about how do we build relationships continue, that we're no longer doing these one and done sales, that we're actually engaging our customers and building relationships, and we're able to continue to grow those relationships throughout the customer life cycle. That's what the book is about. This book is amazing. If you are in business, this is a must read, and you should really get into these different concepts. These phases are game changing for small businesses. And then advocate. So once you've done all this for the customer, then think about the best the best customers give the best referrals, and you want them to refer their friends, their family, the people they know. Whenever your subject matter come up, you want them to refer your name. Like I love getting tagged and saying, hey, she does business plans, hey, she does resumes, hey, she's a business coach. Those are the things I do, and those are the things that I enjoy when people tag me in those kind of situations as a referral. Like that's huge. That's huge. So happy customers give the best referrals. And then the referrals are the rewards that you get because you did a job well done. Like that, what other way can a customer say, hey, this was a great experience than to give you a referral? And so what you want to think about, like on Amazon, you think about Amazon, when you sell on Amazon, Amazon looks at the quality of the reviews that you give, that people give for you, for your company. And they also look at the number of people that give reviews. So that's why when you buy something from Amazon, every few days you'll get the supplier emailing you, hey, would you like to give a review on this? Because they're actually graded. Like Amazon has their algorithm set. The more people that respond for you, the more people get to see you. So just think about that. So reviews, right? And think about for K9s, and that is a company that he's talked about in his book about how they do customer service on a whole new level, like how they make advocates for their people and how they lift them up and showcase them. And as a result, people are forever sending them referrals. So think about, if you don't know who that company is, go look up 4K9s. That's one that he mentioned in his book. And then think about video testimonies. I think it's called boost.oi, where you can actually email it to your customer um, and ask them to give you a video review. Like there's an app for that now, so it's super easy now. Like he wrote this book in 2018, but today we have so many ways of getting customer responses from our customers. To how do we do? And we don't want just the good reviews. We want all the reviews, good or bad. Like anytime somebody's giving me a review, I always ask them, give me an honest review, because that's the thing. You don't want people to think you're fooling them. fluffing reviews. No, you want honest reviews of how did I do? Did I do well? And then you can, if you have people like sometimes we're dealing with the elderly or we're dealing with people that are unable to get started. It's like, girl, I don't know what to say in an interview. Then you can draft testimonials for them and say, well, I'll draft this, and you can edit it from for however you want. The thing about it is their name on it becomes their sign off that that's correct. So think about how you can help them, make it easy for them to give you accolades when you've done a great job, right? And so in chapter 16, which is the next thing that we're talking about, this talks about get started, how to stop losing customers today. And in it, he gives his testimony. He talks about, the ink fades slower than memory. So you have to make sure that you are doing, he has 4 steps here: investigate, observe, personalize, and surprise your customers. Like, know what they like. Get to know your customers are more than just a one and done sale. Get to know your customers for who they are. He talked about in chapter 1, human to human. We're humans selling to humans. We're humans doing business with humans. Like, yeah, people use the B2C or the B2B methods, but the thing about that is we're all H to H, as he stated in chapter 1. It's a human experience to a human experience. And so getting to know each other and getting to understand what our likes and dislikes are as customers will help you to know right away how you can fulfill all of these 8 phases of the customer lifestyle, of the customer life cycle, and help you to build your business, right? So investigate your step-by-step process, making sure that you have removed what they call customer barriers. Sometimes we're not aware then we've put the barriers making it harder for customers to do business with us. So how can we go through the customer value cycle, right? Go through the value cycle for the customer and see everywhere that your business touches that customer and try to make it better for them in order for them to do business with you. How can we do that? It's just do the experience. You have people doing the silent shopper, the secret shoppers, and all, so they can get the customer experience. Well, you be your own secret shopper and go through your process and see what obstacles are there and how can you make it better? How can you move things closer to the customer so that it has them in mind? And then how you can reward your best customers, the people who are spending, who have chose you, who have given you the privilege of choosing you. And then in the final chapter, which is chapter 17, if Comcast can do it, so can you. And he talks about the Comcast model and how Comcast is very customer friendly. And so leaving customers with a customer service experience, giving them an experience, how you're going to win in the customer retention game. So understanding what we just discussed, right? We went back and talked about chapters 11 through 17, and we talked about the rest of them, of the rest of the 8, right? So the first one was assess. After we assess, people, after we assess our customers' experience, then we have to go to the next cycle. And I am going to get it here because you all know me, and you know my memory is not good. So in the book, it talks about the assess is the first cycle where you are marketing to your customers long before they ever buy. They're trying to determine if what you're selling is something that they need. So how do you attract them? How do you get their attention? Then he talks about the admit, where the customer says, because they heard your language speaking their tone, and they're like, I do have that problem. They may be a person that can help me with that problem. So it's going to look at that person and finding out if that business is what they need. Then he talks about the affirm, the buyer's remorse, especially if you offer big ticket products. Like, people have buyer's remorse, whether it be a car, a house, or whatever. The next day, you have buyer's remorse. And he talks about how in Dr. McCain's, after he had went and had his crown put on, later that evening, the his her staff called and said, right about now, you should be start the numbness should start wearing off, and now you're starting to feel pain. Did you go by the drugstore and fill your prescription? If you did, now's a great time to take one of those pills so that you don't have that pain overnight. That extra piece is what he dedicated an entire chapter to Dr. McCann for that. So how can you get somebody to dedicate an entire chapter of their life story to you? How can you do that? So that, yeah, that's a wonderful thing. So that's about the affirm. And then the activate. Once they have affirmed, now let's activate your product or service. How can you help them to do that? How can you make it simplistic and remove all customer barriers so that you can walk with them through the activation process to make sure it's acting exactly like you said it would back in the assess part, right? And then the other one is to activate. Well, I mean, activate, and after they activate, then you want them to acclimate. And the acclimate piece is where they're getting used to how you do business and they're getting to understand you. And then the next one is to accomplish. That's the big part. That's where the celebration, that's when they have the desired outcome and they're ecstatic and you're helping them to celebrate because a win for your customers is also a win for you. So that's understanding what that is in the accomplish phase. And then the next one is the adopt. So in the adopt is where you start having the long-term relationship because we know it doesn't end at the sale. It doesn't end at the sale. So this is them getting back in touch with you, you reaching out to them, making sure things are working as they should, and building a long-term relationship. That's what this is about. My calendar's going off because it's time for me to get ready for my next appointment. So I'm trying to hurry through this. But the following one is advocate. And advocate is what happens when you have a customer because happy customers give great reviews, give great referrals. They help you to build your business. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. And so today I came in to plug you in to never lose a customer again. I hope you've enjoyed this. And it's time for me to get to my next appointment. So I'm going to let you all go. But thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.